Hello, friends, and welcome to our online streaming services. If you're with us on Facebook or YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to get notifications when we have new videos. If you're with us on Zoom, then drop a hi in the chat. We would love to say hello back. If you're in the sanctuary, I miss you so much. Hello. And if this is your first time here, go ahead and sign our guest book at oakcliffeu.org/guest. Today's sermon is Resurrection and Ascension, a different take on the Easter story with Beth Ferree. All right, first of all, announcements. Big news, happy news, wonderful, amazing news for our church. This is years in the making, so many different, boards and stuffs and things that happen. Anyway, after all this time, guess what? We finally have a new minister. A very warm and loving and happy UUCOC welcome to our new minister, Deneen Robinson. I personally took part in the interview when we were hiring, and I'm just going to say I loved it, every bit of it. It was amazing. Her vision for our church, the way that she views the people in it and the relationships and just everything about it, just so spot on and loving. And just there's so much hope there. And I'm just very, very excited about it. Deneen is wonderful. If you've never met Deneen, her energy just lights up a room and makes everybody feel wonderful. So I probably needed a thesaurus today. I haven't had my coffee yet, but either way, all the good adjectives. So thank you to Deneen for signing on with us, and a thank you to everyone who made this possible, including our president, Beth Ferree, who put together the ministerial search committee, which has Alex and Susan and Nancy and Donna and me. So see, sometimes committees work. Good times. Welcome, Deneen. All right, if you don't know about it, Hopeful Hearts is a fund that we have that we keep in case members of our church need a little financial help here and there. Thank you to everyone who has ever donated. I know that many members of our church have benefited from your generosity and have been gifted from the Hopeful Hearts Fund. So what's all this have to do with anything? A friend of the church, Carlos, has lost everything in a fire last week. If you would like to help, anything donated to the Hopeful Hearts Fund last week and this coming week will be donated directly to him and his family. Go to oakcliffeu.org/hopefulheart, or you can text your donation to 214-225-5996. All right, let's move on to the other news this week that does not fully make it into the announcements, because announcements would be an hour long because there's just always so much going on at our church. If you want more details about any of this, you can check out our e-blast. There is information about the budget and the finance committee, some new tech from Scott to make our sermons look fabulous, worship meeting stuff, Easter Sunday. Check out the e-blast next week. Plans are in the works. They're kind of fluid. So when the e-blast comes this coming week, open it and read it and find out what's going on for Easter. We have Workday Wednesday stuff, handbags for the homeless. We got a huge donation, which is amazing. There's information about that, and we need a name change. So if you can help with that, check that out as well. And of course, widening the circle of concern. It is Sunday, so if you can stick around after the sermon for talk back at 11:15, please do. We talk about the sermon and surrounding topics, and you always get something out of it, whether you are there to talk or to just listen. We also have adult religious exploration at 1 o'clock. They are doing science fiction and religion and philosophy. And now we get to the big part. Why is it big? Oh, because it's member anniversaries, but it's even bigger, y'all. This week is amazing. We have 5 anniversaries that are just like, so just be careful. Like, I love it when y'all yell and stuff, but you're just going to have to pace yourself because they're all so great. You'll lose your voice. All right. So let's start with happy UUCOC anniversary to Mary Martinson and Stephen Martinson. Awesome. This one you might have to actually dance around for, because you'll see, you got to dance for Our happy anniversary to Glorianne Mulligan Stratton. Singing and dancing for Glorianne. Finally, last but never least, the amazing, the wonderful, happy anniversary to Kat Lester and Mike Lester. See, that is amazing. I would be screaming right now, but if I do, my kids will come in and want to know what's going on with me. And then once they're in here, they're going to want, like food and attention and all of that stuff. So I'll save my screaming for later. Anyway, happy anniversary to all 5 of you. Thank you so much for being such amazing people in our church. See, again, I need that thesaurus and that coffee. To the 5 of you and to everyone out there, I hope that you all have a very happy Sunday.
Good morning, and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Oak Cliff. Thank you for having the curiosity and courage to join us. We welcome you, whoever you are, whatever spiritual tradition, gender, age, race, sexual orientation, or background you may bring to our community. We hope you will find here comfort, connection, challenge, respect, and above all, love.
May the light we now kindle inspire us to use our powers to heal and not to harm, to help and not to hinder, to bless and not to curse, to serve you, Spirit of love, compassion, and forgiveness.
Que esta luz que ahora encendemos nos inspire a usar nuestros dones y poderes para sanar y no para herir, para ayudar y no para impedir, para bendecir y no para maldecir, para servirte a ti, espíritu de amor, compasión y perdón.
To Love Life by Daniel Chesney Cantor. To love life is to notice the wonders that abound. And to notice the wonders that abound is to be grounded here and now. And to be grounded here and now is the beginning of finding love for this life today. Let us ground ourselves in this instance in the worship of all things good and right.
Gather the Spirit, harvest the power. Our separate fires will kindle one flame. Witness the mystery of this hour. Our trials in this light appear all same. Gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy now and then. Gather in hope, compassion and strength. Gather to celebrate once again. Gather the spirit of heart and mind, seeds for the sowing are laid in store, nurtured in love and conscience refined, with body and spirit united once more. Gather in peace, gather in thanks, gather in sympathy now and then. Gather in hope, compassion and strength. Gather to celebrate once again.
Please join your voice to mine in affirming our congregation's spiritual covenant. Because we love one another, we honor each individual's spiritual journey. We celebrate life's abundance and service to each other, our community, and the world. We connect with each other in love, respect, and acceptance. Thus do we covenant together.
And now in Spanish. Porque nos amamos uno al otro, honramos el viaje espiritual de cada individuo. Celebramos la abundancia de la vida en el servicio a entre sí, nuestra comunidad y el mundo. Ponemos en contacto a unos con otros en el amor, respeto y acepción, así que hacemos pacto.
In our community, we make time each week to share pieces of our lives with one another. We do this because each person in this community has value. Each person's experience matters. We share our sorrow with one another today, knowing that sorrow comes into each person's life, knowing that together we offer comfort. At this time, we invite you to publicly post your sorrows and prayer requests to the Zoom chat or send those to our Facebook Messenger.
When I breathe in peace. When I breathe out love. When I breathe in peace. When I breathe out love. When I breathe in peace. When I breathe out love. When I breathe in peace. When I breathe out love. When I breathe in peace. When I breathe out love. When I breathe in peace. When I breathe out love.
We also share our joys with one another, knowing that joy comes into all of our lives, knowing that joy calls unto joy, knowing that together our voices can rise in a chorus of celebration. Today, we share the joy of this moment, this community, present and awake together, deep calling unto deep, joy calling unto joy, light calling unto light. Please share your joys publicly by post in the Zoom chat or send those to our Facebook Messenger or speak those aloud.
Spirit of light, come unto me, sing in my high, all the stirs of compassion blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
When I began working on this message, I spent many hours researching how the worship of the ancient Egyptian gods Horus, Osiris, and Isis influenced modern Christianity during the Hellenic Age. While its influence may be obvious in the Bible, I realized it's not the message that's really needed today. Whether we believe in the death and resurrection of a man called Jesus or not, the world today desperately needs to hold on to something that tells us there's more than an endless cycle of work, sleep, and reading about tragedies. And that, I believe, is part of my mission here. To begin, I want to share a story. You've heard it before, but pertinent to where I'm headed. On Easter morning in 1968, my grandfather passed away. Shortly after his death, I was walking down the hall when he appeared in front of me, in front of my parents' bedroom door, with bright light glowing behind him. We spoke telepathically, but what I remember most about that is I had a very strong message that I had a specific mission in life. I would not understand it until I was much, much older and had grown some wisdom. He also communicated that I would be known all over the world. Since I was only 7 at the time of his death, I don't remember much about him as a man other than what I was told by others. He was often described to me as someone who was incredibly wise and caring. He had a connection to God that everyone saw but very few understood. To me, he was just larger than life, and one of those people who always listened to me. And that was important for a little girl with 4 big brothers. He had to grow up quickly. At the age of 10, his father passed away from pneumonia brought on after standing in the rain during a political protest. Grandpa began working at the local grocery store and still managed to graduate high school and go to college, where he majored in horticulture. This was unheard of in the early 1900s, especially in rural Iowa. After he graduated, he opened his own nursery, and then in 1918, he lost his wife to the flu epidemic and was left with 2 young daughters to raise. He became the president of the local school board and fell in love with a young teacher, an incredibly independent young woman who beat the mayor's wife to the polls to become the first woman ever to vote in that county, and she became my grandmother. When the market crashed in 1929, Grandpa lost his nursery and was forced to work for the government collecting taxes. He despised the work, but needed to support his growing family, so he did what was necessary. I know from his diaries that he was incredibly family-focused and took good care of a mother-in-law who, by her own daughter's admission, had fault to find in anyone. He supported his sister and brother and even his first wife's family throughout the years. I don't know if he was an empathic medium, but that's very possible. My father also showed those abilities, and it was not unheard of for this ability to go down the family line. I sometimes wonder if these gifts came through a blood connection to the Native Americans, as it would explain my interest in those traditions, as well as why I have an Indigenous spirit guide. I tell you this story because, in a way, it might explain why the death of Jesus has come to be considered beyond human comprehension and worthy of worship. When Jesus appeared after his resurrection, he showed himself to two women, both of whom loved him deeply. We don't know much about how much the story is indeed fact, or how much of it is a spirit appearing to someone with a deep connection and a gift. Given the political climate of the time, it's entirely possible that the men heard the story and took ownership of it. It certainly wouldn't be the first time that happened in the long history of patriarchy. Boulder pulled away from the tomb may simply have become a symbol, such as the ancient Egyptians had for their own gods. We are all aware that our current religion is largely expanded ideas on ones that came before. There truly is nothing totally original at the very core of any religion. But we do acknowledge that Jesus is an integral part of what we agree when we look at the sources for our principles and covenant. We must respect our Christian family who do believe that Jesus died, was resurrected, and ascended to heaven 40 days later, just as we need to support our Buddhist family who see him as an ascended master who still speaks to the possibility that we, too, can ascend our own human failings to become one with the universe. It's not about what happened for those who touched our lives on the earthly plane. It's about the message. Jesus taught us to treat others the way we would like to be treated, take care of those who most need our help, and to love one another. He also never claimed he was God. That designation was bestowed upon him by men who wanted to extort his name in order to grow a religion. His words told us how to behave, not what to believe. Once we separate the person of Jesus from the politics of religion, we discover someone far more approachable. The bottom line is, if we follow the example of Jesus or Buddha or any of the other ascended masters, such as Gandhi, there's always a possibility that we too will transform and ascend our humanity. And that is the message of all of the ascended masters. It's also not important to me if you happen to believe my grandfather brought this message after his death. What's important to me is that I took that story to heart for the decades of trial and trauma with the belief that I would one day live up to my grandfather's expectations and learn the lessons. I know I never would have made it without the guidance of my ancestors and my spiritual guides. I only came to accept that I had this gift from the universe after years of being gaslighted because I knew things before they happened and talked to entities no one else could see. Honestly, even more traumatic than that were Christian pastors who believed that I was possessed by demons. It took a lot of work and courage to overcome all that and recognize that the demon was an integral part of me. Although my grandfather could not possibly have known about the internet, today I am speaking to people all over the world through technology. I have friends who speak different languages and experience different cultures. And hey, at least once a week, I'd have an Army general or other officer, widowed with 3 children, tell me I'm beautiful. It's been a difficult couple of years. We lost family members, jobs, and occasionally hope. It's hard to see anything getting better in the future, and we get caught up in the grief and depression of it. I have talked to many people who just can't seem to get past it all, and they want to connect to a loved one who has passed. The most important task I have here and now is to give messages from the other side to assure everyone that all will be well. Often these people go away feeling less lonely and better able to cope with life and move on. Whatever your belief system, it's always about the message, not the conduit of it. We all need something to believe in. Even if you believe in nothing at all, you still have faith. The belief in yourself is undoubtedly the most important reason to have faith. Because in the end, the message is always about who you are underneath the labels bestowed on you by society.
One more step, we will take one more step, till there is peace for us, and everyone will take one more step. One more word, we will say one more word, till every word is heard by everyone. We'll say one more word. One more prayer, we will say one more prayer, till every prayer is shared by everyone. We'll say one more prayer. One more song, we will sing one more song, till every song is sung by everyone. We'll sing one more song.
Let there be an offering to sustain and strengthen this place which is sacred to so many of us, a community of memory and hope, for we are now the keepers of the dream. To make an offering or your pledge, please go to oakcliffuu.org/donate and follow the links.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Extinguimos esta llama, pero no la luz de la verdad, el calor de comunidad o el fuego de nuestro compromiso. Estos los llevaremos en el corazón hasta que estemos juntos otra vez.
We are gathered in the Spirit, our bodies are all part, filled with joy and touched with wonder. salvation.